Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thank you for joining us today. I hope all is well with you. I hope got a topic today that I know is going to be a sensitive one, and I'm very conscious that there are a lot of cliches around the topic of loneliness, and I want to try to make this real. Now, I could very easily say here are the 5 things you have to do in order to deal with loneliness, but I know it's not that simple, and I'm not trying to preach or offer anything that's a cliche. That you really do have to struggle and take control of your life when you're dealing with a situation of loneliness. Now, lots of women in our community love to be alone. Many are living by themselves now and just treasuring every moment. So there's an absolute difference between living alone, being alone, and feeling lonely. Now, we've had so many comments over the years from women who are in relationships and marriages where they're certainly, not alone, but they are so lonely. And I think that's the distinction that I want to make, is that what is that kind of loneliness that goes to the heart? It's the one that just makes you feel like there's just no reason to go on, that it's just, life is just a void, is empty. And loneliness is a very big issue. We did a survey a couple of years ago, and it turned out that 70%, I think it was 75% of 60andMe viewers who actually filled in the survey said that they had felt lonely in their lives. Seriously lonely, not just, a little bit isolated or by themselves. And certainly, so that's a big number. And actually, statistically, there's more deaths that are related to loneliness, the degenerative issues that come from that, than obesity, which is, of course, a big issue. So it's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be just casually chatted about. I want to try to get to the heart of it. And the title of the article is 4 Tips for Overcoming Loneliness, and I hope that they're useful. I hope that at the end of this conversation, you feel like you've got some things to hold on to. And if you are dealing with a loneliness reality in your life, that you can go and take some action. I want to help. That's what 60andMe is here for. We want to help. And so here's some thoughts. I think the first thing that everyone says to do, and I know it's a standard response, but it's to acknowledge your feelings. Don't hide behind the fact that, there's been a pandemic, of course, there's reasons for feeling lonely and isolated, but acknowledge those feelings. And there's a difference between saying it, I'm lonely, I'm feeling lonely, and actually saying, this is something I've got to deal with now. This is something that I have to not judge, not blame myself for being lonely or making mistakes that led me to this situation, and avoid avoidance. Don't avoid the responsibility that you feel for the situation, and accept your new reality. If there is something that I think we've learned through the pandemic, certainly in my experience, is to be adaptable. And I think that when we find ourselves in a situation where we're lonely, not alone, but feeling really, truly, lonely, that we have to accept that reality and then be determined to do something about it. Because there are things you can do, and it's not just a matter of going for a walk or getting out into nature or, buying a dog. There's no thing that you can do. It's here. It's this mental state that you have to shift. And so that's the second thing that I think is always recommended. And I wrote it down because I think it is an important one. It's about shifting your focus. Loneliness is sometimes related to an event, a divorce, a death, a separation, an estrangement, loss of a job, loss of your physical strength, a diagnosis. There's all kinds of medical issues that can really make you feel like you are just not engaged in the world anymore, that you are feeling incredibly separated and isolated and alone. And that you don't feel like doing any of these things I'm probably going to talk about, but you've got to kind of grapple with that and shift your focus. The most important thing, I think, with shifting your focus is looking ahead rather than back. Whatever is creating your loneliness and your sadness around that is probably related to something that's happened in the past, and you're dwelling on that and reflecting on it and can't break free of it. And I know how that feels. I have had loneliness moments in my life for sure. And I can share some with you, if you're interested. But it's really not something that if you're going through this now, you are absolutely not alone. Absolutely. So the key thing in shifting your focus is to look forward. Look to the thing, not to the things you don't have, but to the things you can have and that are in the future for you if you put your attention to it. And the bottom line is to do things you love. Just do things you love. There's got to be something in your world, in your mind, that you enjoy doing. If it's something like reading, or if it's just crafting, or if it's walking, or there's sports, crafts. There's all kinds of things. If there's one, just find one thing. Just find one thing and do it. Do the thing that you love. If there's absolutely nothing that you feel like you love right now, look back to your childhood. I think this is, I don't know whether that's something that you've done or you find useful, but I've actually found that very useful. Go back to your earlier times in your life when you were happy and you were, maybe not so lonely. Find out what you did and then just pick it up again. Go and do the things you love, because that is where you will find your friends. That's where you'll find new friends. You'll find that even that one person. And it may not even be a deep acquaintance. It could just be someone that, you meet by chance, a stranger acquaintance, who actually just touches something in you that they understand you, they get it, they know what you're going through. And I think that, you won't find those people in places that doing things that you don't enjoy. There's no point in going to a gym or going to a Pilates class if you don't like doing a gym, or going to a yoga class, which sounds very good, great way to make friends and get out of the house. If you don't like doing yoga, you're not going to be, you're not going to meet the people that you need. And it is about people. Loneliness is by definition being away from other people. So if you're trying to break through that cycle of loneliness, you got to kind of get, to people. You got to find the people that are doing the things you love and being like-minded. You don't need a million of them. You just need one or two. You just need some friends who are close to you in your thinking, your values, and people that will enable you to be the authentic you. You may be an introvert and not that bouncy, and not your response to loneliness may not be to be active and to be out there doing stuff. You may just be a quiet person, and you may just enjoy doing things by yourself. That may lead to a feeling of loneliness, but there's other people like that you can share with. And the beauty of online now is you can do a lot online. If you love to travel, and that's something that's really made you feel depressed and feeling lonely because you're not meeting new people. This is one of my courses. I love to travel, and it's been very difficult. But to go online and do virtual courses. Airbnb, I think, has some of these experiences now where you can go and be with other people in a Zoom call, and you can actually, join in a cooking class or a tour of Lisbon, or, trip around Porto. It's just, there are things to do. A third thing is to reach out to strangers. Now, if you're here, you're listening to this 60andMe video, we do have a supporters group. We have a group of women in our Patreon group who are supporting 60andMe with a small donation every month. And it's their way of saying to me, I believe in what you're doing. I want to support your channel. But what's happened in that group is people have met each other. It's turned into a friendship group, and it's a smaller group. So, unlike the bigger 60andMe community, which is huge and hard to find people, there are people they're connecting, going on cruises together, meeting up for coffee, just chatting online. And that's a solution for you. But 60andMe is certainly not the only place you can go. There's lots of other groups that are doing these kinds of virtual gatherings, virtual chats, and you can make friends that way too. Sun is coming out today, which is nice. So it's a shiny day. There's another one, it's called Girl Travel Tours, which does really cool virtual tours. I don't know if you actually see anybody else in a Zoom situation, but it's just active. It doesn't mean you have to get through loneliness. You have to not be alone. You can do things on your own that will help with that feeling of detachment. The fourth thing in our list here of 4 tips, they're not things to do, they're kind of just tips, is to give back, volunteer. There's so many things now that you can do virtually, and you don't even need to go out into the world if it's something that's a little bit nervous to you, is to enjoy sharing what you know how to do. I don't know, there's so many interesting women in our community, and I'm sure what you did as a career, what you've learned, what you've studied, those are things you can reach out to others and share. Maybe do a class online. And again, I guess the point I'm making here is you don't have to go out and do stuff. You don't have to be physically, meeting people and putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. You just have to do things you love. Main thing is to follow your passions, and you don't have to start a new business or do anything really, dramatic. You just have to shift your focus, accept your reality, and then find one person, a like-minded person. It may be someone in our 60andMe community. It could be someone that just lives down the street from you. It could be the lady at the Tesco shop or the Walmart shop that helped you. It could be just a person to connect with, who's and you'll maybe find, if you trust your instincts, that they've been through something very similar to you that brought you to this situation, because there's always going to be something behind it. Okay, and I know that things that spark joy are, we talk about it in the self-help world, and everybody's like, find joy in your life. It's not that easy. I get it. And I think that if you can maybe even just take a second, if you are watching this video and you've been through a loneliness patch, what you did to get through it. What do you find helps you to combat senses of loneliness and isolation? It's a new day. It's a new world for you. Let's get out there and try. I know it's hard. I truly appreciate you listening to this and, probably nodding through some of it. Yeah. I've tried that all. But all I can say is we're here for each other. We're in this together, and we're here to support you. Just leave your comments below as to how you've maybe managed with loneliness in your life, and help your sisters here on 60andMe. Take really good care, everybody. Lots and lots of love to you. Stay well and strong. We'll talk again soon.